I'm Gita Lovegood, and today I'm going to be giving you my tips on group battles in the night bus. First, I'm going to cover how each profession can help each other. Then I'm going to cover how you can battle with your friends in the night bus. And finally, I'm going to cover how you can battle with me in the night bus. Now, before I jump into all those main topics, I want to talk about a couple of quick bugs first. So a few things that have been around for a while but have been enhanced kind of with this night bus feature are: one, it's an invisible foes bug. So sometimes when you enter a chamber, there's going to be a lot more foes than you anticipate. Some of those are actually going to be bug foes or fake foes that not everybody in the lobby is going to see. So a little bit of knowledge that you can just try to keep on hand. However many people you're going in to fight with, there should be that amount of foes on the screen. So if you're in a full fight of 5 and you see like 10 foes on the screen, just know that 5 of those are fake foes. And if you're a professor or an R and you try to hex them, it's not going to let you hex them because that's a fake foe. The second bug is one that's really frustrating, and it's been happening a lot more. And there are a few different reports on what's causing it at the moment. And the bug is that you'll get a random error message that pops up, and it kind of lets you know that you've lost connection with the chamber and it has a restart button. Never, ever press this button. This button is essentially going to kick you back down to the map and kick you out of your chamber forever, and you're never going to get back in. I know that sucks. It's not something to laugh about. It's something that I know that my team dealt with for a long time, and I'm really upset that I didn't share it with you guys sooner. But yeah, so basically when you see this pop up, what you need to do instead is force close the app. So for certain phones, it's going to be like double click or whatever, however you do on your phone, to completely force close the app without touching that button. That's how you'll be able to re-get into your chamber. Sometimes you'll have to do it a few times, but keep force closing your app until you get back in that chamber. Now, there's another thing that seems to be going along with this and seems to be triggering it, but I've heard different reports on what's triggering it. The first report on it was that basically if somebody fainted while nobody else was in the lobby to see them faint, then it would essentially glitch out the next person that came back to the lobby. So say you glitched out and you fainted and you're waiting, then the next person that beats their foe and tries to come to the lobby, they would experience that glitch and get that restart button. And unfortunately, they would have to keep restarting and force closing until you count down that timer all the way. The second reporting on this was saying that if it's the first player that faints. So to know who is the first player, you have to look at the different colors when you're going into the chamber. The first player is always going to be the player that has red. Second player is always going to be green. Ultimately, whenever you enter the chamber, it's going to be in that order up at the top. So whoever entered first is going to be on the very far left, whoever entered last is going to be on the very far right, and they're going to be the yellow player for the last player. So they were saying that first player, red player, if they fainted, then that would cause the bug. Now, the last report that I saw was saying that it doesn't just have to be anybody watching the person that faints, it has to be the Magazoo in the lobby. So they're suggesting that the Magazoo try to sit in the lobby when you see somebody that's about to faint, which we should be doing anyways, but sit in the lobby and try to revive them immediately, and that should fix the bug. All around, I think ultimately it's better safe than sorry, and if you don't want to risk this bug at all, try to either use healing potions if you have a Magazoo that is not doing what they're supposed to. You never know who you're battling with. They just might be new to the game. You can't really blame them, so try to pay attention. They might not know about this bug either, so they might just be waiting for you to faint. So you can check and see if they're in a fight. You can see and compare. You can look at the different colors up at the top, and you can compare it to the little color symbol on the foe to see who's fighting what. And if you see that the Magazoo is fighting somebody, maybe hold off on fainting and wait and try to time it with when they finish the foe. This is going to be very tricky, but I just wanted you guys to know about the bug in general and to know that if you see the restart button, force close your app and keep force closing until you get your butt back in that fortress. Kita to the next morning, jumping in here. I was just scrolling through Facebook trying to catch up on things, and I came across a common bug that I've actually experienced a little bit, but I came across a way to fix it, so I wanted to go ahead and cover that now. Don't mind how sleepy I look or the fact that I definitely need a shower. So the bug is basically everybody in the chamber hits start, but some people are not actually going into the fortress. So some people are going in, seeing the foes, going ahead and starting, but some people are stuck in the countdown chamber and they're literally having to count down to 0 before they enter the chamber. So if you're in lower level fortresses, normally by the time they're counted down, you guys are done with the battle. But if you're in higher chambers, this just means that they're coming in late. An easy way to tell if you're experiencing this bug is if you try to hit the cancel button. If you successfully cancel and it goes back to the start button, then you don't have this bug. Everybody's still just waiting. But if you're trying to hit the cancel button and it just keeps doing this same little reload thing where it won't actually let you hit cancel, then you are experiencing this bug, and here's what you need to do to get into the chamber to fight with everybody else. I just read this on Facebook, so I haven't gotten to try it myself, but 2 people said it, so I'm pretty sure it's a real thing. What you need to do is hit the X button at the bottom and then hit stay. This is going to connect your phone right back to the servers, and then it's going to realize that the rest of the team is already fighting and throw you in so that you can fight too. So far, this is the only way that I've seen to fix this bug, but I hope that it helps you. I know I've experienced it multiple times where I'll go in, even my very first battle, if you go back and watch my last video about the night bus, I'll be like, oh my gosh, what was that bug? I started with like 11 focus. It's because I experienced that thing where they literally had me count down to 0 and I thought that everybody was waiting, but actually it was a server issue on my end. So try this out. If you are seeing that everybody has pretty much hit start except one person, that is a good indicator. Then you can go ahead and try to hit that cancel button, verify for yourself that you're experiencing the bug, then hit X, and don't hit leave, hit stay, and you'll get thrown into the fight with everybody else. Alright. Now back to last night Gita. First, let's talk about how each profession can help one another. There are multiple ways that each profession can help different professions and how you can benefit from other professions. Ours, Magizoos, and professors all have very, very different skills from one another. First, ours have 2 different hexes, the Confusion Hex and the Weakening Hex. An R's Weakening Hex, when it's maxed out, will reduce how hard a foe hits you by 50%. This means if a foe would normally hit you by 100 points, if it has the Weakening Hex on it and the Weakening Hex is at full capacity, it'll only hit you for 50 points. The Confusion Hex is a hex that helps with dodge, defense breach, and defense. So if a foe has really, really high defense, or if they have defense breach, or if they have a high dodge percentage, this will help take care of that and pretty much negate it completely for the current foes that we have in the game. Now, an important thing for ours to note is that you guys are the only ones that have these hexes. So if there is an Urkling or a Pixie that's 5-star, you guys are the ones that are going to need to hex it for the professors and the Magizoologists. Professors are lucky where they have a little bit of a higher accuracy against Pixies, but Magizoologists are pretty much screwed even with a maxed out skill tree. We need you guys to do the Confusion Hex on 5-star Urklings or they'll pretty much dodge every single hit. And also with the Confusion Hex, it helps with defense breach. So whenever professors and Magizoologists actually hit under 100% defense, they don't have to worry about that defense breach taking away from that 100%. Now, it's not often that an R is going to have to do this for a Magizoologist. Right now, it's only Dark Wizards and Werewolves that have defense breach. So it's only if there's like only those foes that are on the screen that you'll need to pay attention, and if you want your Magizoologist to have a chance, you'll need to go ahead and do the Confusion Hex on those foes so that they can take those foes and help you out. And the last thing that R's have is the Focus Charm. Right now it's the only charm that R's have, but it's super helpful for group battles because both Magizoologists and professors have skills that require a lot more focus. Each of the R's strategic spells only costs 1 focus, but both Magizoologists and professors have skills that cost up to 7 focus. So it's really, really helpful for an R to pass that extra focus over to allow the professors and the Magizoologists to use those extra skills. Next, let's jump into professors. Professors have a couple different powerful charms and a powerful hex. First, they have what's called the Protection Charm, which I call the Shield Charm. This Shield Charm, when it's maxed out, helps add 30% defense to whatever player that it's added on. It is added on individually, so for each person that a professor wants to do this for, it's going to cost 3 focus. So with the shield charm, so if a professor or magzoologist has all of their defense nodes in action, they can actually hit 100% defense, which means they're taking absolutely 0 damage, which you know is amazing. Another charm that professors have is the proficiency charm. This adds 40% proficiency power to each profession, and it's a one-time charm that costs 7 focus. So with this, that means every player in the chamber that's going against something that they're proficient against is going to hit that foe 40% harder, and they're already going to be hitting it with a maxed out skill tree at 150% harder because of their already proficiency power on their skill trees. Sorry, I'm probably getting a little bit carried away here. It'll all make sense. Once you guys start playing more and you come back to my videos and rewatch this, it's all going to make sense. You just gotta kind of learn a little bit and then experiment and see it for yourself, and then it'll all just click in. So we've covered the protection charm and the proficiency charm. Now let's talk about the deterioration hex. This is a hex that professors have that is put onto each individual foe. This costs 3 focus, but it causes the foe to hurt themselves every time they attack you. So if the deterioration hex is on the foe and it's maxed out, then every time you hit that protego on the screen, the foe is going to damage themselves by 40 points. This is huge for increasing how fast you can beat a chamber. However, it only works on the one foe, and the rest of the skills can be very, very helpful for teammates. So definitely use this one last, professors. And finally, let's talk about Magazoo. Magazoo only have charms, but they are amazing charms. So first, let's talk about the bravery charm. This charm only helps when you're attacking elite foes. Those are the foes that specify elite in the name, and they have a gold border instead of a regular silver border. Now with the bravery charm down, if the Magazoo has their bravery charm maxed out, it's going to add 150% power to whatever foe you're going against. It doesn't matter if you're proficient or deficient, no matter what, it's going to add 150% onto your regular power. So extremely helpful for going against elite foes. Next, Magazoos have what's called the stamina charm. This is going to cost them 2 focus, but it will essentially act just like a healing potion. Healing potions heal you for 35% of your full stamina, and the stamina charm will add 30%. Now while that's really, really helpful, another super helpful skill is called the revive charm. So if you happen to get knocked out in the battle, Magazoos with a maxed out revive charm can actually revive you to 100% of your full health. And this only costs 1 focus, but it does require you to completely faint out. And with that bug that I told you guys about at the beginning of this video, I'm gonna leave that up to you guys on if you want to do that. Just know that if you accidentally do faint out, a Magazoo can help you as long as that bug isn't active. Now finally, all the professions have little skills that cost 0 focus. Professors and Magazoos, their 0 focus skills can help heal and add 2 or 3 stamina per each 5 seconds. And then ours have the Bat Boogie Hex that can be applied to foes, and that can take away 3 or 4 damage every 5 seconds from a foe. Both can be very, very helpful in very tight situations. Now let's talk about what I recommend you do as soon as you enter the chamber. Magzoologists, I recommend going ahead and taking your beasts as soon as you enter the chamber. Try to save up your focus all the way to 12. Now depending on where your skill tree is, you should hopefully have your max focus up to 12. Try to save up all your focus to 12 so that you can throw the bravery charm down and still be at your 5 focus and not lose your extra 40 power from the Become the Beast. I don't recommend doing this if you don't see elites on the screen, so try to pay attention. If there are elites on the screen, go for it. If there are not elites on the screen, if you're like in a really low chamber, then don't bother and save your focus and maybe try to keep people alive instead of waiting to revive them. If there are elites right off the bat on the screen, I do recommend going ahead and gobbling up your potions. It's not likely that you're going to get focus from a random R off the bat, so if you want to help your team, go ahead and gobble those potions, throw down the bravery charm, and then you'll have a bunch of extra focus for the rest of the battle that you'll be able to keep people alive with. Professors, my recommendation is a little bit different depending on your group. If there's only one Magazoo in the group, I definitely recommend shielding your Magazoo first and then doing the proficiency charm. If there's multiple Magazoos in the group, I recommend going ahead and doing the proficiency charm first and then going ahead and shielding people. Ultimately, I feel like that extra 40% is going to help over time, and especially if you have some slower players in the group that might be taking longer, this might help give them that extra boost to speed up. On the flip side, if you do want to do shields first, that is completely fine. All I request is that you wait on the deterioration hex. Please try to at least do the proficiency charm and some protection charms first, and then you can jump onto the deterioration hex. But those first two doesn't really matter. It's all a preference on what you deem is important for the team that you have going in. And lastly, Rs. I recommend you look at what's on the map, go ahead and hex the things that really should be hexed. Try to pay attention and know that not everybody's going to have a maxed out skill tree, so my recommendation is anything 3-star and up, go ahead and do the proper hexes just in case, because you never know. You know, unless you see me. Then, with whatever focus you have left, try to pass it to the professor. Of course, Magazoos will never argue with a little bit of extra focus, but ultimately try to pass it to the professor until you see that all of the professions have those little square nodes highlighted below. And then, of course, if there are a bunch of elites on the screen, as soon as you enter, go ahead and pass that focus to the Magazoo and hope that they're going to do the bravery charm. Always prioritize the confusion hex on pixies and Urglings first, because those are going to just dodge people if you don't do that, and then you can go ahead and use your own knowledge for how you should prioritize things. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this. Everybody's going to different places for advice, and everybody is getting different advice from those different places. So my biggest thing that I can get across is, with random night bus battles, you are never going to know what rank the other profession is, what knowledge they have, if they might just be in this for fun and learning along the way, or they might know every single thing on the board. Just know that it's always going to be random. You're always going to need to practice patience. It could be somebody that's just picking up the game again for the first time since it launched, and they got really far but they never got to group battle. You never know who you're battling with as long as you're doing random battles. So my biggest recommendation is try to do what you can. If you're going into random group battles, do what you know is going to help other professions, and cross your fingers that the other professions are going to help you back. Try not to get angry at the other professions. If they don't, just remember it could be somebody new to the game. They could just be very, very unaware. Now, that being said, if you're someone like me who gets a little bit triggered sometimes, I'm sure plenty of you guys saw that tweet where I was just like, try to maybe arrange group battles with friends. I'm about to jump into how to jump into group battles with friends and arrange that. It does take a little bit of patience, but ultimately it's going to save you a lot of frustration if you can just jump on Skype or jump on Zoom, or even create a new Discord server, because Discord has those little voice chats. So get creative, figure out how you can battle with your friends from all over the world or in your local area, whatever you want, and have fun that way so that you can save yourself and others frustration. Because ultimately, you getting frustrated by the way other people are playing is just creating frustration on both ends, and it's not helping anybody have fun, and I think it is taking away fun for some people. So let's try not to be those people. Ultimately, this is a game. It's supposed to create fun for everybody, and everybody's going to play different ways, and we cannot control how anybody else plays. So try to practice patience, try to arrange things with your friends, and maybe even jump in and battle with me, which we'll jump into after I talk about how to battle with friends. So, battling with friends. First, I want to go ahead and explain how the night bus kind of works. So it seems like there are multiple different virtual fortresses within the night bus. This, I'm sure, is to help their servers not get overwhelmed, and if you've ever been in like a big group on community day or anything, then you'll know what I'm talking about, how it's a crazy hot mess. If there's too many people all in one fortress. So I'm pretty sure they created a bunch of different fortresses, virtual fortresses, that you can get thrown into. So say there are 50 different virtual fortresses. Whenever I go into the night bus and I click OK, it's going to send me into any one of those 50 different fortresses. So the trick to battling with your friends is a little bit easy, but it's also just time consuming. Basically, what you've got to do is you've got to find each other all in the same fortress. There is a little indication that helps you find each other. There's this little friend icon. So if one of your friends is sitting inside one of the chambers in the same fortress as you, then you'll see them and you will be able to jump in with them. And the best part about it is once you guys find each other, as long as you don't exit back to the main map, you'll never lose each other. So you'll get to battle with each other for as long as you want, as long as you don't run out of energy, of course. You do, of course, need to be friends with each other in the game, so have each other on your friends list so that you can see each other. And one of the easiest things that I have seen as recommended was for one person to be the dedicated waiter. So one person goes in and sits in ruins 1 through 5. This way your friends that are trying to find you don't have to scroll. They can instantly jump in, see if you're there or not, and leave. This will save a little bit of time. The waiter is going to have to watch the timer and back out respectively and jump back in, but don't back out completely of the fortress, just back out to the page where it lists all the different chambers. Then once you guys find each other, you can leave and you can go into whatever chamber you want. And you can keep playing each other even if you guys experience those bugs. As long as you get back in and like do the force restart and get back in properly, you'll always stay in that same fortress and you can just keep battling together. So now I'm going to jump into how to battle with me. I'm sure most of you guys that watch other WooTubers have probably already seen, but most of us, I believe, are trying to battle with you guys. So what I'm planning on doing is going to be live streaming. I'm going to work my way up to live streaming every single day of the week. So all weekdays, Monday through Friday, my time here in America. I will be streaming in the morning as that's when I am feeling most up for it and most energetic. And I'll pretty much be trying to get a team of 5 together and sticking with that team for as long as people are available. So make sure to turn your notifications on if you want to try to be part of that so that you can jump on immediately and go ahead and try to find me in the night bus and claim that spot. It should be a lot of fun, and don't worry, I'm still going to be uploading. I'm trying out a new schedule. You guys know me. I'm still trying to figure out what works for me. I think this is gonna be it. We'll see. At least I know I'll have a lot more fun being able to battle with all of you guys finally. I've been dreaming of this since the game launched. I didn't know that this would happen, of course. I thought I would have to travel to be able to battle with all of you, but this is amazing. I cannot wait. So make sure to look out for my live stream. I'm going to start trying to this upcoming Monday. So that would be May 4th for me here in the US. And then we'll see where we go from there. Of course, I need to build up my vocal cords and get used to talking all the time again, build up my energy and my stamina. But ultimately the goal is to live stream Monday through Friday with uploads on Saturdays and Sundays. Alright, I believe that is it for all of my fortress tips. I really hope that these helped you guys, but of course I know that I'm still constantly learning and I know you guys are too. So if you learned something new, make sure to leave it in the comments down below so that both I and all of you guys can learn from each other. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys on Monday. Until then, you guys know what to do. Make sure to use your magic wisely and keep an eye out for Dementors. Nox.